Alright, a reading of chapter 3 and chapter 4 of the story I'm writing called Break. Chapter 3, Structure. As you move towards the structure in the distance, you see the shadowy figures in the edge of your vision. You cannot make out what they are doing, but you can feel a dark intent emanating from them. You push on from the feeling and continue to move forward at a brisk pace. The bright white still overwhelming. Even when blinking, all stays within your vision. Yet as you blink, the shadowy figures now produce red eyes, when your eyes would be closed. This doesn't deter you, as your only focus is on the structure in the distance. Some time passes, even though there is no way to know how much. The landscape slowly changed without you noticing. Because of the shadows at the edge of your vision, taking another step forward, the ground before you breaks away under your weight. You freeze at the sight of your foot dangling over the hole that has formed in your path. Pulling your foot back from the edge, leaning over, you inspect the hole. As you stare into the hole, the structure leaves your mind, once your sole purpose, now momentarily forgotten in lieu of this new development. In looking down the hole, you begin to notice the white slowly fading the longer you stare. Not knowing why, you continue to look transfixed on the retreating light. The more the white fades, the heavier your body begins to feel. You try to look away at this realization, but your head won't move. You try to move your body, but it is locked in position. The white completely vanishes, and a dark, otherworldly scream can be heard bellowing from the pit you now are prisoner to. You see nothing but red eyes looking back at you. The little white that was at the edge of your vision, now completely black. You can feel cold hands, human-like, but far too large to be human, take a hold of you. They begin to drag you at the slowest speed possible back to the edge. The sound of your shoes creating resistance with a slow slide, as if being dragged across gravel. The malice within the grip of the darkness paralyzes even the thoughts in your mind. Your body in shock, heart racing, you feel the beats race through the entirety of your body. Yet unable to do anything, as you are now 10 toes over the edge. A wide smile of pure white and beady red eyes is seen at the center of the hole. It speaks in a deep demonic tone.
This is where this is where you will call home forever. This is where I made you. This is the void.
Upon saying the void, it pulls you into the black void. As you fall, still unable to move or speak, you begin to be able to think again, thinking to yourself, what is all this? Then in your head you hear a familiar voice say, did you think it would be that easy, huh? My dear friend, Ego. The shadow laughs as you descend further into the void. The shadow continues to speak, but out loud, as if he was the void itself. My dearest friend, you disappoint me. Did you think you could just escape me? I told you, you couldn't. The mask fell, and was forcefully ripped from you. That still isn't a testament to your good works, as it is still a massive failing as you tried to run away into other worlds. Yet here you are, in a world you created, yet claim no real ownership over. This, the sum of your failures. And let me tell you, my friend, they are vast. You have been falling for what seems like a long time now, but you have yet even gotten to see the better half of eternity. The shadow stops for a moment and says to you, speak now, as you have no choice, but to seek the truth and not find comfort in your lies. You wrap yourself into to remain warm, even though you have not had warmth to you in ages. You speak in response to your shadow in an almost defeated tone. You call me ego. Why? The shadow responds, why not? I already explained everything to you. Must I truly remind you? Or is this another one of your ploys to play dumb to protect yourself in a layer of ignorance, so you do not have to claim the whole of the punishment for your transgressions, that they shouldn't all be on you alone? I told you already, you cannot deceive me. Taking a moment to stop and recall what the shadow has already said. You feel a tight pain in the center of your chest. The hand gripping you begins to burrow its way into the center of your mass. You struggle with all that you have to escape the grasp, but it only grows tighter as the hand digs deeper into your ribcage through the solar plexus. A hand grips your throat and with inhuman strength chokes you. Your eyes roll back. You can feel the hand in your chest gripping your heart. On the verge of passing out, the shadow begins to speak. You know the heart is a treasure from heaven, right? Those who have the most broken hearts are the most sacred. For only the wounds of the broken can the divine enter into one who has been so brutally transformed by the world. You were never designed to be as you are. This was a choice you made yourself. You were supposed to protect what the divine gave you. Yet it has fallen into the hands of darkness. I know you must think I am talking about the very hand of darkness that is inside you, gripping your very heart. Alas, this is not the case, my dearest friend. You have played the part of the fool far too well, and the time has come to change. The debt of your actions has come to be repaid. You must open your heart and have real structure within your heart. The hand on your heart grips tighter, making your heartbeat irregular, as the shadow said. You must open your heart and have real structure within your heart. Unable to do anything, you are helpless, feeling as though these are going to be your last moments alive. The shadow continues speaking evenly. Again, I bring up the point you made of me hiding my works in the dark. Look again. The hand around your throat loosens and you regain enough composure to look. The once black void now filled with white shadows and blue eyes that stream with energy as if they are filled with electricity. The once black hands are now white, but you yourself are void black. Looking up, you see endless black, except streams of white shooting up randomly, but never make it out of the hole. You shake your head, unable to process what is happening. The shadow appears before you as an all-white version of yourself. White arms can be seen extending from his back, leading to my chest and to my throat. Your shadow begins to speak in a stern voice, but one that is also marked by sorrow. My dear friend, this is the truth of the matter. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the universe, so the soul. The desire to do good is there, but still at the forefront is your darkness. Yet below, the good is whipped into obscurity until it transmutes into void, as your dark desires intended. This void you create have marked your Cain. As within, you have always had a murderous intent and have followed through with it, and with that you are without a true heart. You tainted the greatest treasure from the divine with a void, and it made it so you do not have one. You murdered yourself with no real intent except to try to run from what you have done to yourself from the beginning. As a child, this is expected, not as an adult. You knew better, but didn't do better. The shadow stops speaking for a moment. You feel your shadow's eyes burning against the side of your face. You turn to lock eyes with him. His eyes are that of an angel, soft yet strong, demanding respect from anyone who dares look into them. The feeling you get from looking at him is not one of malice. You see tears forming in his eyes. The shadow now speaks with a true air of sadness. I tried for so long, my friend. We didn't have to be enemies. It didn't have to come to this. You were so close so many times. Why, my closest friend? Why must you betray us so? Why must you continue to ignore me? The shadow wipes the tears from his eyes and collects himself for a moment. Then the shadow continues to talk in a more resolute tone. There is no other way but the hard way with you. You have made that abundantly clear. There can only be one king, and that king is not you. Your heart must become structure. Upon saying structure, the shadow grips my heart and shatters it. The hand upon my throat fully wraps around, and through my vision I see my body staying still, but my head falling further into the void. My vision begins to fade after a few moments, and I think to myself, this is how I die, at the hands of myself. No, isn't that poetic? I suppose I deserve this. A faint voice, unfamiliar to you, says to you, is this really how you want to die? Do you not want more? Death is the coward's way out. You don't strike me as a coward. Just accept my offer at new life, and we can get out of this mess. Without even a second thought, you agree to the offer, as you do not want to die and cease to be. The voice laughs wickedly. And you realize in that moment you made a grievous mistake. You land hard on concrete-like material, feeling pain shoot all throughout your body. And taking a little bit of time to lay there, you collect yourself and get to your feet slowly. As you scan the surrounding area, you see nothing all around, except when you turn around, and you are about 50 feet from a structure. You cannot make out what it is yet, but it sparks your memory about getting to the structure. This one is all black, but it is very much similar to the one you were walking towards. Chapter 4, Cracks. Looking at the structure, you scan all of it that you can see. You think to yourself, this is a huge structure, at least several city apartment buildings tall, and what seems to be as wide. The building seems to sway as if a wind is blowing against it, and the building is fighting it for its ground. Beginning to walk parallel to the structure to the left, you get about 150 feet when a door materializes with a red carpet, unrolling from the bottom of the door. A clear invitation to enter at one's own risk. You think to yourself, analyzing what you should do. You cautiously approach the carpet and door. You inspect the carpet, and it is just a normal red carpet. You take a step onto the carpet and walk towards the door. You are 3 steps away from the door when it swings open forcefully, and the entirety of the realm shifts forward, causing you to fall through the door into darkness. You land hard yet again after what feels like falling forever. The realm shifts back to normal, and you slide across the stone floor at a high speed until you tumble to a stop in front of a huge stone door. There are symbols upon both doors. On the right door is the inscription of the divine masculine from spiritual alchemy. Upon the left door is the divine feminine inscription. Adorning the archway is 13 celestial bodies, the sun being at the very pinnacle. You get up and walk closer to the door, putting your hand upon the male door instinctively and swing it open. You lightly brush the female door on your way into the room. As you pass the threshold, you feel your chest swell, but it is not painful. In fact, you enjoy the feeling. You begin to walk with confidence, and it makes you feel good. You begin to analyze the walls of the hall. You are walking down. Paintings adorn each one, a pure masterclass in artistry, but you don't look close enough, as each one is only seemingly a masterpiece. They are full of flaws, but only a trained eye would be able to pick out the flaws. Yet one puffed up by pride would not, as their initial judgment, must be the correct one. As you continue down the hall, you pass by a multitude of paintings, some beginning to resemble the darkest moments in your life, the regrets you hold deep in your soul. The confidence doesn't waver that you are feeling, and you continue onward. There is a fork in the hallway. Both halls look identical. You stop to think for a moment, but a single note can be heard coming from the right hall. This causes you to automatically forego the left hall and heading headlong down the right hallway, determined to figure out where this note is coming from. The hallway stretches on for what seems like forever. The further down the hallway you go, the more notes are added, and it has built itself into a somber sonata. Continuing to press forward with unearned authority, your vision tunneled, locked on only the seemingly never-ending end of the hallway. The hallway is now moving faster and faster and faster. You feel as though you are floating as you move. The song now has a full ensemble and arrangement, a beautiful piece made for one to weep to. This only angers you, and you can hear in your head the laughter of a court jester. It gets even louder as it invades your entire mental space. It stops abruptly, and a raspy, high-pitched voice can be heard clearly.
Good, you made it just as expected. I knew you wouldn't let yourself stop you. You have always been my most faithful. You seem to have lost your mask. You need a new one.
You stop suddenly and are now floating midair in the hallway. The hallway moves at a speed that is unregisterable to your eyes. The movement stops after several moments, and another archway is seen. The same inscriptions as the main door to the hallway are seen. You don't have a choice in which way you go now. You are pulled at inhuman speeds down the right hallway. You know you should be concerned at all of this, but you just accept what is happening as if you could do nothing. As if you could do anything about it. Just as always, you go with the flow and close your eyes, fully surrendering to the experience. Your gut turns and forms into knots at this acceptance. You feel something akin to daggers enter slowly into your skull. The faint sound of buckles can be heard starting to latch as the daggers anchor into your brain. all points meeting in the middle of your brain. As they meet, you feel an intense heat in your skull, rapidly increasing, emanating from the center of your skull. You writhe in agonizing pain as flames spit from your eyes. A mask is seen on your face now. A mask is seen over your face now. The mask looks like an amalgamation of your previous mask. The porcelain pieces are stitched together sloppily, still cracked. Upon the inside of the mask, there are hundreds of thread-like needles protruding from the mask. The sound of the buckles, fully latching closed, can be audibly heard by all. From outside the mask, that was at a slight distance from your face, now sinking deep. Each protrusion piercing your flesh, blood flowing from each one, but being brought up to the mask. The mask begins to speak, as it is now merging with you. In a low, sinister tone, it sneers. You thought that you could be rid of me like that? You and I are one as well. I have always been sewn into your flesh from the start. You accepted my offer, but it would seem, for the debt you have incurred, you must pay it in full right now. As I have been cracked to pieces, so shall you. The mask plunges in completely into your face, binding permanently. The protrusions extend further in, binding into your very brain, wrapping the daggers into place. You feel your control waver completely and break. From your point of view, the world breaks completely and shatters into pieces, falling out of place, one tiny piece at a time. As you watch this, you begin to realize you are forgetting memories that are precious to you. There is nothing you can do as you slowly feel yourself to shatter. You think to yourself, what does it even matter? I always wanted to die. Is this not what I wanted all along? Why do I feel such regret in my heart? This was the logical outcome. You say this to your heart. This was the logical outcome. Yet your heart grows heavier with the pangs of deep sorrow. You feel as though it is crying, as though it is losing itself with you. Time stops for a moment, and you feel your heart shatter. Even in the midst of a shattered world, everything begins to fractal into never-ending, shattering frames of scenes from your life, but they shatter too fast to make them out. You hear the court jester's voice again, speaking in a raspy, high-pitched tone.
Look at you, my boy. What a pitiful state you are in. You know, you almost had me scared there one time. Seemed like you almost wanted to understand. No, you can't understand. Look at you.
He stops for a moment and begins to speak again.
Cracking at your very foundation, fading away into nothingness, going off to worship at the altar of your pain as always. You create cracks in your foundation, and I have yet again slithered in because I am sewn into your very existence. You cannot escape me. You cannot outlast me. You cannot outsmart me. I will always have you, no matter how much you try to escape me.
You completely and utterly shatter